Our speaker tonight is Travis Tree Life, and usually he hosts this meeting, but I'm hosting so he can share his story. And and usually Travis asks everybody who shares to, describe 2 words for their recovery journey. Um, so I asked Travis. Well, his 2 words were intuition and grit. And I found a quote, which I love it. And intuition and grit, that's a curveball. But I'll put this quote in the chat, and it says, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most importantly, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. Then somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary." And I thought this was such a great quote for Travis, just because the way I see him, on this platform, his mindset to me is always remaining teachable. Always doing, he's very invested in doing the work on himself to become a better person every day. And that's something in sobriety that will lead to success if you stay that way. And so Travis has been such a valuable member of this community, and I look forward, and a good friend of mine now, and I look forward to hearing him share his story. So Travis, go ahead.
So this is what it feels like, I guess. Yeah, so intuition and grit, I just feel like, to me, it's instinctual, and that's the lesson that Zeus has taught me, is to love with my instincts and live life with my instincts. And he's been around for the better part of me trying to get my head together. Before him, life was kind of crazy. Going back to as early as I can remember, my first traumas occurred, like, I was 4 years old. My parents got divorced, so pretty early separation in my life. My sister is 6 years older than me, and we didn't really have much of a relationship growing up. But from what I gathered earlier from her, the marriage was toxic. So most likely, I was born into a pretty toxic relationship between my mom and my father. My father has been an alcoholic his whole life. So he's basically been absent and pretty volatile. I have some pretty rough memories of some violence between my father and my mom. So I came home one day. I was 4 years old, and I just remember boxes. The house was packed up, and that was new to me. That wasn't the way life was. And next memory I know is I'm in an apartment with my sister and my mom, and why can't I be with my dad? I wanted to be with my dad, and I didn't understand that. And it's not that I didn't have love for my mom or my sister. I just didn't have that bond. I was a young boy. I wanted my dad. And so she remarried within a year, and I got a stepfather and a stepbrother. Where I grew up was really far out in the woods, really far away from life. Far away. You got to go a decent 15, 20 minutes to the closest gas station. And I was born in the city. I was used to city life. So that was a little bit of a culture shock environmentally. But a year removed from my father, I've got a stepdad and a stepbrother. And my dad had not joint visitation, but every other weekend and Wednesday visits after or school. Um, I would visit with my dad, and this was just I in early childhood. This is just it fucked me up, and it kind of went into school with me. I was a troublemaking kid. I was always in the principal's office. I was mean to kids. I got bullied. I had a hard time fitting in, and a lot of times I felt like a black sheep in my family too. I didn't relate with my sister or until she got to college. I struggled to meet a make a relationship with my stepbrother or my stepfather. As I got a little bit older, my mom got involved into work and school. So she was really busy all the time. Um, I got lost into playing to video games. When I was really young, I played basketball, and I think my first year I was just hopping and skipping up and down the court, totally clueless to the game. And I want to say that we actually won the championship that year. But something about it made me come back and keep wanting more, and I stuck with that game. And a couple years later, I started to get as talented as a 6 or 7 year old could get, but I became competitive, and basketball became like my first early passion. Dude, when I would hang out with my dad, there was always his thing is to drink a lot of beer and watch sports on the weekend. So that was my weekend environment. My dad getting drunk watching football, and I was exposed to sports and booze by my dad. He wasn't giving me. I would always want to go play something or do something with my dad, and I was always a second priority to him, and not much of that has changed. Um, and so sports really drove me through school as a positive. It was the first way that I discovered that I could get positive reinforcement in my life from peers, from other people, and especially my family. Um, and it felt good because I was lonely and I didn't know. I was so lost at an early age. And so as I got older, my behavior at home became rough, and my mom and dad were fortunately they lived like 15 minutes apart, so I could go back and forth to either of their houses pretty frequently. But I was being a little shit all the time, and they decided to, all parties agreed to get out and go on to the next parent's house until I was kicked out of that house, and that cycle pretty much occurred all the way through school. Um, I acted out in school. I got so many suspensions for not playing sports, shooting myself in the foot. Um, I was I was a smart kid. I learned what I wanted to learn, but I never did the homework. I was never there. Um, just didn't want to do the effort. So right around the age of 13 was when I started actually trying to find, I guess, exploring an outlet. And my first get off in life, I discovered porn. And, looking back at it now, I developed bad ideologies about women and the women that I would date and the types of relationships I would get into. And I viewed porn pretty frequently, and I got into some trouble. But the consequences were it's just like grounding or paying my dad back. Nothing to make me think that it was abnormal. So at 15, I started smoking weed, and that was a new escape for me. Um, to me, it was just like this euphoria, cloud epiphany. Like what the hell is this? Um, and I want to say about 2 weeks later, I was drinking some nasty R&R and lemonade and puking. Uh, Pretty rough. R&R is some rough shit. But whiskey was my choice, actually. But so yeah, like my freshman and sophomore year, I'm kind of experimenting with drugs. My junior year, shit got pretty dark. I was involved in a pretty lustful childhood romance. Some typical high school partying stuff going on, drinking, smoking, nothing much going on. Went through the breakup, and that pretty much fucked me up. I got real dark, real fast, real depressed. Um, Attempted suicide a couple times. Went to a psych ward. Played psychiatric roulette with medicines. Nothing fucking worked. I got put on Seroquel. It fucked up my sleeping pattern for fucking years. Fucking years. Um, and that made me rely on smoking pot a lot more. Um, and then I just went on like a rebound, man. Like I was having irresponsible sex with a lot of my classmates. I was partying a lot. I was skipping school. I didn't really care. Totally reckless. And ultimately, this behavior, I sexually harmed 2 female classmates and caught a felony and went to prison because of this at the age of 18. And um, when I was in prison, I taught myself. I dropped out of high school because I got expelled for my actions, and I went to an alternative school, and I was on personal recognizance bond for fucking 10 months. And the computer statistically showed that I had a week and a half left to obtain my diploma, and the judge took me away. So fortunately, my teacher was cool enough to let me teach myself physics and some bullshit algebra, and I was able to earn my diploma in prison. So, you know, all for naught, I did my whole bullshit school career and still got something to say that I did it. Um, so prison was just fucking crazy, man. Like after the life that I lived, like, my school, the high school that I went, the environment, like you either had money or you were piss poor. And then if you were somewhere in the middle, like where my family is, you just didn't fit in with anybody. And the school had a great academic curriculum. It was a weird environment. And then going to lawless fucking prison, it was a culture shock. But I learned how to cook. I took an 8-month cooking course. I got pretty good at cooking. Um, I spent 2 years there, so I came home when I was 20. And because of my felonies, I'm a lifetime register. So I had to be put on a 24/7 ankle monitoring GPS unit for 24 months. Jobs were pretty much factory or cook. Um, my mom divorced my stepdad at the time, so she was living in a new area, and there was a pub right up the road. It was a kitchen, so I got to use my skills I learned in prison, and being around that crowd as a young kid, it was a good way for me to make up the lost years that I was in prison, to party. Um, I was on the GPS, so I knew that if I was at work, in quotes, that I could drink. Um, so I met my friends at a bar after work. I would clock out after work and sit there and get drunk. That was the only form of fun that I had, or it was house arrest after prison. And so eventually this led me back to jail for a parole violation for 10 days. I came home from there, got a new job working at Qdoba, and that place is a joke. Sorry if you've worked there or have had experience, but God, I fucked that place up. I got involved into a pretty toxic relationship with one of the managers. We actually had sex on the job a couple times. It was fucking be smart kids. That led to more drinking, and then obviously another parole violation. So I went to jail for 10 days, and then I found my first little form of rehab, which is actually where the Tree Life pseudonym comes from. Um, uh, but yeah, I got in some trouble while I was there, and before I got there, my PO told me that if I fucked it up, I was going back to prison. So I fucked it up, and I was not going back to prison. So I cut my tether off. I left the rehab facility, and I found my way into Idaho. A couple days later, my parents helped me get there. They got me a bus pass in Chicago. I was sitting in the Greyhound station in Chicago, and that is a busy ass bus station. Um, didn't get into trouble there, but when I did get to Idaho, I was high in the mountains for quite a while. Um, found I found LSD and Molly pretty soon, and those were new to me, and definitely showed me to more irresponsible sex, poor choices, and so I got tired of being on the run out there, and I called to get a train ticket to come home, and the night before Thanksgiving at 2 a.m. And I was getting ready to go pack my bags to get that train, and I heard the Idaho County Sheriff's Department. They were, we gotta come pick you up, kid. You gotta go do some jail time. So I got picked up. Someone called me in, and they came and arrested me in Idaho. So I spent 45 days in Idaho, and then I got released from that. And there's a company called Prisoner Transport Systems or something like that, and they came and extradited me. They picked me up and they shackled me and they stuffed me in the back of a modernistic van with however many people they could put in there. And around the West Coast, we traveled nonstop, relentlessly. I went on a tour of jails. Um, fuck, man. I went on a food strike when we went to the Kentucky hub. We were fucking wilding out. Anyways, I got back to prison. I got back to Michigan and did a year violation. Um, And this time I came home, I got released. I started living with my dad, and it was like within a month or so, we were drinking, playing cards, and smoking, and just fucking oblivious as if I didn't just fail parole the first time and fucking run to Idaho and just so just fucking functional. Um, and I was driving 45 minutes to work. I was working with my best friend and who I'm doing the newspaper with, cleaning carpets and getting into mischief. Um, and I got into a really bad car accident. And if I wasn't driving a Volvo, I probably would have been dead. Um, I had butted my windshield and I had a pretty severe concussion. Um, car was definitely totaled. So I went and spent 45 days on a parole violation. And then I came home with an alcohol tether to add on to my GPS tether. So I called myself the twin barreled shotgun ankles. You know, they were a fun time to have for a hot second. Um, and then it was shortly after this where I met my first real relationship. Um, and this relationship was it was a whole new world to me because I don't know. I guess it was just first love or whatever, but ended up getting moving in with her in an apartment. Just was not a good and healthy relationship. We were both toxic. We were both drinking often, smoking often. Um, we experimented with cocaine together. Um, just real volatile, deep lust, but so unhealthy. Um, And so I got caught running a red light and I was drunk driving and the cop wanted to talk to me and I was being my drunken self and I told him no, acting a fool. And so he made me look like a fool. He ripped me out of my Jeep. He hogtied me, and they put me in the jail. And at this time, I was working on leaving this state because I was on parole to actually stand next to my sister in her wedding. Um, because eventually my sister and I were able to develop a good relationship and we became good friends. And this was one of the roughest moments of my life. There was still a lot of shame in my life from that moment. So I started at this point feeling like shit's starting to hurt, man. Like I've got something that I need to work on. So I did another 45 days in fucking jail, and then I did 90 days in rehab, and I worked my ass off in rehab. Um, but I was doing it because I was in fear of losing my girlfriend, losing faith in my family. You know, I was afraid of losing them. Um, and so, like on my last 2 weeks of rehab, uh, I earned a home pass to come home early because I hadn't been home to see Zeus or my ex in like 5 months. So Valentine's Day seemed like a good day to come home. And um, right before we were getting ready to come home, some random dude walked into the house with a dozen roses and asked where my ex was and gave them to her. And that was, yeah, I cheated on her and, we cheated on each other. We were toxic and that happened, so I was supposed to come live in this house after rehab in 2 days, but 4 weeks later after rehab, I ended up living back in my dad's house again, pretty close to the end of parole. So I was able to buckle down and grind off of parole, sign my paperwork eventually, finally. Um, and then I thought it was a great idea to celebrate parole by drinking again because why the fuck not? It's done me so well in my life. And drink I did. I got back a job cooking in Grand Rapids. I was working as a server and a cook. One of the girls there I worked with had a house and a bed available to live, and at the time, it felt like a great idea to get away from my dad. So I took the offer up and I moved in. And my manipulation works great in these situations when I know I can be an alcoholic because I find and manifest every single way to make it happen. And so I managed to get into a relationship with this coworker, quit my job, make her pay for life, be a quote unquote house husband. But really, I was just a degenerate drunk, stole money. Like it was, and it's not a good look on my end, man. Um, and so that went on for about a year and a half, living that life. It was a good relationship. I mean, there were good things that happened, but it was never right. It never felt right in my heart. Like my intuition was not saying yes about this one. It was just my addiction telling me yes, let's fucking stay drunk. Um, so right around when COVID happened, I had been banging my head against the wall trying to get out of my alcoholism for about 4 months or so. Um, and I was just lockdown was about to occur, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go do my usual drive drunk. And I did it. Went to a park here, threw back a little half pint there, go to a park there, drink a beer there. And something for whatever reason just said pull off of the road. And so I did. And I finished my beer. And it was a wet, muddy day. And I thought it was wise to try and drive my little front wheel drive 96 Camry through, go mud bogging. And I got stuck in the grass. And I was like, you know what? This is it. This is fucking it. So I called the police on myself and turned myself in because at this point in my life, I had no idea what the hell else to do to get out from underneath being drunk. and I spent about 18 hours there. They put me on PR bond on a PBT. I called my attorney in April, and she suggested doing the whole works that the judge would recommend for me to do. So I got into IOP, which is intensive outpatient programming. And when I went to work this time, I put into the forefront everything that I've been through. And I've been through a fucking lot, and I wanted it. And so when I hit the first meeting, I showed up to work, and I've been doing that. And in August, I had like a week left, and I was afraid of relapse because I knew that I would have to get into an NA or an AA type program, and they don't do me well. And a peer sent me the link to a podcast on Sober Nation that I listened to, and I signed up for Sobriety Engine. And when I got acquainted into this program, I knew that I wasn't going to relapse as long as I continued to show up and I continued to work. Because I'm allowed to be myself, and I can tell myself that. And I'm allowed to love myself. And very few times in my life have I been able to confidently tell myself that. Like, I have seen darkness, but fought to be optimistic and see the bright side of life. And I think I do a pretty damn good job in it because I know that somebody has it worse. And that's why this shit works, man. Like, you come here, you embrace who you are, and you share yourself, and you will grow. And when I don't know if he's in here, but Adam sent me a text before I went to jail about becoming a strong flower, and that was my metaphor. Like when I was in Lansing, I would write so many times about pulling out all of this venomous shit in my soil so I could plant the seed to become a beautiful flower. And I wrote about it and I wrote about it. And so when Adam sent me that text like 2 days ago, I was like, get the fuck out of here. If that's not some kind of a spiritual power working, dude, it's crazy. But I want to become a beautiful flower because I think life is beautiful and it doesn't have to be dark as long as I learn to control my thoughts. Like, and that's what my mindfulness and spirituality has come to, is just being a good human. You know, I could probably go on forever talking about so much shit. I mean, I don't even know what I covered, but I'm gonna cut myself off here from now and see what you guys got to give me.
Oh my gosh, Travis, thank you so much. First of all, like, you're incredibly brave and incredibly courageous for sharing, your story with us. And there's so much that I can relate to in my story, especially like just running from myself, and that's one of the biggest things that I relate to. And especially with the addiction, for me it was an eating disorder, but whenever my alcoholism kept quiet for a little bit, then my eating disorder got bigger, and whenever that stayed quiet, my alcoholism got bigger. And so I just thank you so much for sharing your story with us and being so vulnerable, because that takes a lot of courage. So who wants to share, give Travis some love?
Hey, Travis, my brother, I just want to thank you so much for sharing. And I was intently listening because you know what? I didn't go that path. But brother, I just felt myself, I felt for you the whole way through. And you know what? You seem to be a very good man. And I give you all the props in the world. And what did they say? Just keep coming back, brother. You know what? You got it. And thanks for being so open about everything. And like you said, you know, there's probably more you could have talked about, but actually, for this alcoholic, that was fucking enough. And thanks for everything, man.
Geraldine, go ahead.
Hi, friends. Geraldine, alcoholic. Travis, thank you so much for your transparency. How brave of you, and you are such a fine young man, you know. And I'm so glad that you're going forward instead of dwelling on the past. You did what you had to do. Look at you, just got out yesterday because you did what you had to do to keep going on. And you jumped in a meeting, and I mean, I see your growth and your determination, and you're just so brave. And Travis, we love you, and I'm glad you're here. And I know you're going to keep coming back. We love you here. Thank you.
Go ahead, Leo.
First of all, I'm proud of you. The whole time you were sharing, I heard helpless in your voice, and you know, in your cadence, you didn't miss a word. You didn't skip over nothing. You didn't hold back. You threw it all out here. You regurgitated all your bullshit out into the universe. You know, they hooked you up, 3 hots in a cot. That's probably the last time you're going to be in there. I think you have this. And thank you for teaching me. Again, every time I listen to you, man, I learn more and more all the time. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Leo. Oh, Wolfgang, you want to share?
Yeah, no, I just wanna congratulate Travis. I'm here today the first time, by the way. So I never heard any story from him or from anyone before. But yeah, I mean, brother, you gone through rough shit, and hey, you made it out of it. The journey never ends. We know that, one day at a time. But your honesty to yourself and you're so brave. And you look back, not in necessarily regret, which is a good thing, I think, because it gets you out strong, and you're an inspiration. The shit that you went through. We all go through different kinds of obstacles in life, with our problems and with our addiction. But listening to you, it's an inspiration, and I just want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for your words today. I hope to hear more from you in the future. I will be here. Yeah, thanks, and all the best. Really well done. Hey, good.
Thanks, Wolfgang. Wolfgang, welcome to the group. This is a great group here, and a lot of us here are regulars. We're here almost every night, so I hope to see some more of you. All right. Oh, go ahead, Steph.
Travis, you know I love you. I'm rooting for you. I mean, from what you just shared to who I know now, it's not even remotely the same person. You have grown so much, and you're kick-ass, and you deserve to love yourself. But I don't want to talk too much. And R&R is gross. I don't know why you chose to drink it. It's diesel fuel.
Thanks, Steph. Keenan, go ahead. Oh, you're on mute. Go ahead. Oh. All right, guess he's not there. Go ahead, Billy. You want to share?
Billy Alcoholic, grateful to be here tonight. First things first, I woke up this morning. I did not think about drinking, man. You heard that, Travis? You know, I'm still in the game, buddy. You know, I read somewhere that it said that some of us suffer from grave emotional and mental disorder. Many of us do recover if we have the capacity to be honest. So, I heard a lot of honesty today in your sharing. So that puts you in the right track. You know, I'm also responsible to share my experience, strength, and hope. You know, and my experience was to get a sponsor, to work through the steps. My strength came from a higher power, obviously, it still does. And my hope continues to be that I hope that I never relapse. So since I hope I never relapse, I try to stay on top of my game. That's why I still make a lot of meetings. That's why I still have a sponsor. I still call my sponsor. I still sponsor people. And I still try to share my experience, strength, and hope with the group and with this group and other groups that I visit and I make meetings at. So, you know, you hang in there, buddy. You keep coming back and it'll be okay, man. Thanks for letting me share. Love you guys.
Thanks, Billy. Thank you for your wonderful share. Dennis, did you want to share? I saw you unmuted yourself earlier.
Dennis, alcoholic. Yeah, sorry I'm a little late. I was checking out. I get to go back to the snow tomorrow. But Travis, when you talked about the flowers, I went through the same experience with one of my counselors. But one thing he had noticed was my body language in the beginning. And one thing I always did was sit with my arms crossed. And he said that when I see you sitting with your arms crossed, that means you have walls built up. And what I want you to do is get your sledgehammer out and start busting down them walls. And again, start beating on that foundation, because your foundation's a piss poor foundation. And I got the wrecking ball out. And I destroyed that foundation I had, and I destroyed all them walls I had built. And then I had to build a new foundation. And how I did that was hanging with people in sobriety. I got a sponsor. When I found my sponsor, I've been through 5 of them. And how I related to this sponsor that I have now today for the last 12 years. He had been busted with an ounce of coke and an ounce of heroin. He'd been in 9 treatments, and that program that they had him in didn't work. And I met him in an AA meeting, and I liked what I heard, what he said, and I could relate to him. So I asked him to be my sponsor, and we went to many meetings together, and I found a garden, and I planted seeds in it, and I fertilized it by going to meetings with them and working the steps. And I have a beautiful garden today. I have nice flowers, and I have a solid foundation. I have a spiritual advisor. I have a AA sponsor, and then I have some financial advisors who I don't usually check 110% with them, but that being said, it's always good to look in the rearview mirror, but don't stare at it. And I would find myself staring at it once in a while, you know. Like today I met some people and they asked me, how come you're not drinking? We're by the pool, you know. I'm drinking water. And I said, I'm sober. She said, you're what? I said, I'm sober. I don't drink. And she said, well, we come to Mexico to get messed up. And I thought, well, good for you. The cravings for drugs and alcohol have left me. I have no desire to use. I don't miss them. And, you know, I came from Alaska and I thought you couldn't go fishing without alcohol. And I hung around in a lot of slippery places with a lot of slippery people. And I always accepted dying with drugs and alcohol in my hand. And that desire has been dissipated. It's gone. I have, and it's through working the steps and then having a sponsor and hanging around people in this program. I had to change one thing, and that was everything. And that was kind of difficult, you know, because I still have friends out there that are using, and they call me repeatedly, you know, today or yesterday, and they'll call me half liquored up, and some reason they want what I have, but they're not done yet. And once you find your bottom, surrendering is admitting that drugs and alcohol kick your ass. And I had to say that for a long time and be a winner. And it's been a very good experience for Dennis to
Uh-oh, Dennis, I think we lost you. So if you come back, we'll go ahead and have you finish your share. But we're Gail, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Travis, thank you so much for being so honest and so open, and for everything that you are doing here. Honestly, I think you are well on your way to getting your shit together. Really good. Talking about flowers, you kind of remind me of the lotus flower. Big long roots in the deepest, muckiest are the ones that grow the best, that bloom the best. They bloom fresh every morning, and that seems to be what you're doing. You got your roots in some pretty nasty mud, but man, look at you bloom now. And you will continue to. You found your place, just like a lot of us have. You're doing great. Keep going. Love you.
Thanks, Gail, and hi, Calvin. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Travis, hey, good job, buddy. Like Leo said, same thing. I'm proud of you. It takes guts. That's one hell of a story. And to be where you're sitting right now and sharing this with the group of guys and gals that you are sharing says a lot about who you are and how far you've come. So yeah, I just want to say I'm damn proud of you. Like I said, it takes guts, and sometimes guts is enough. You know, I mean, it's hard to choose sobriety, and it's hard to stay sober. It's so easy to just say fuck it and drink and use and whatever, you know. But you know, the courage and strength that you're showing right now definitely tells me that yeah, you're in it for the long run, buddy. So definitely proud of you. And thanks for sharing the I guess the quote that I shared with you. I mean, it's kind of neat how this higher power stuff works. You know, I think when I first got into the program and was speaking with one of the other guys actually in this chat room, You know, we were talking about what are the things I was struggling with, and to be quite honest, it was a lot of it was steps 1, 2, and 3. It was hard for me to even grasp, and my idea of a higher power was just the connection and love that we all share amongst, you know, especially amongst recovered folks. I tell you, it's something else. So it's pretty neat how that stuff kind of comes up and shows itself in that, and definitely lets you know that there's a lot more to this than just you and I and everybody else. I mean, we're all in it together. It's pretty neat. So anyway, just want to say I'm proud of you, buddy. Hope you have a great night. I hope you feel better. You ought to feel better. You know, slam the door on that last chapter and let's see what happens. I think there's a lot of good things in store for you, buddy, and I'm looking forward to it. Have a great night.
Thanks, Adam. Simon, go ahead, and then Gary.
Hey, Travis. Super cool to hear your story, man. Like, it makes me, you know, glad to be here. Because I get to learn from you, you know, like I get to see what you've done, and you've been very supportive, like reaching out to me, I think like, you know, 2 days after I got here and being like, hey, I'll whip your ass into shape. Yeah, and you know, like I didn't really know your story at all until now, and it's really powerful. I think that everything that happens to us as addicts happens for a reason. Um, in the sense that all the circumstantial shit happens for a reason, not the shit we do to ourselves. Well, it happens because we do it to ourselves, but like the fact that you're here sharing, you know, it's kind of like you're a missionary for recovery. You know, that's the step 12. That's the bring it to everybody else. You know, help out the people that you can with what you know, because that's all you can do. And so I appreciate you being here and being open and sharing and caring and loving and being you, man. Yeah, sorry, I'm a little incoherent tonight. I'm not really, yeah, I'm not gonna share too long, but I kind of want to do a little personal share because it's the update. So I have been feeling like really great, you know, and then today I just kind of had a big mood dip. And I feel better, like, well, not better, but like, you know, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that I came out here and I could hear your share and see all the roller coaster you were talking about when I talked about roller coaster, you know? Yeah, no, I just kind of had a big mood dip today, which is annoying. It's an annoying thing in recovery. It's like, why isn't this working? You know? But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for the share.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks for your share. And sorry, I'm a little sniffly, but I think it's important to know too that like life is going to happen on life's terms. You know, we're going to feel up and we're going to feel down, and it's all how we deal with it. But Gary, go ahead, my friend. Good to see you.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Tori. It's good to see you as well. I'm Gary. I'm an alcoholic, as you all of you know. And Travis, I apologize. I got in late because I had some personal things I had to take care of, but I could hear the struggle and the pain in your voice. And I completely understand that. And I share some of that pain. And all I can tell you is that through life, walls keep getting thrown up in front of us. We don't know when, but we walk around the corner and there's the wall. And we've got to find a hammer or a tool that continues to help us break that wall down so we can move forward and we are able to go on. I know it's a metaphor, but there's a lot of truth in it, because sometimes when you feel the most helpless, and you're struggling just to deal with today, it's a good day to back up and break that wall and start over today. If you wake up in the morning and you see the sunshine and you physically feel good, it's already a good day. So take that gift and work with it and come back here, listen and lean on your friends, dump whatever emotions or problems you have, and let everybody support you here. It's so important. As for me, everyone, you know, kind of what I told Travis, I woke up this morning and I saw the sun. I saw my wife, so it was a good day. It was one of the couple days this week that I haven't been either in the ER or in the clinic. And they won't let me back in because I keep chasing the young nurses around. And so they kicked me out. But I'm going to fight and I don't ever give up. And I know in the end, no matter what the turnout is, I'm going to win. I just tell everyone, sorry, just enjoy every day. It's a gift. It's an opportunity. And when it's gone, you'll never get it back. Yeah, we have ups and downs. Yeah, we get hurt. People are hard on us. We have emotional crashes. We have weaknesses and we have diseases or bad habits. But none of this is things that eventually we can't overcome. So keep sharing, keep being open and honest, and not with us, but with yourself as well. We all know our boundaries and we all know when we need somebody to help us get through something. Whatever the situation is, it's always easier if someone's supporting you and helping you. So don't be afraid of that. I look at every day as an opportunity and a new challenge. I don't know what that day is going to bring. I'm sorry, I'm having problems stuttering again, but God, I love every day. It's great. It's perfect. So don't get bogged down in hitting the wall or not getting across the ditch, because you will. You just have to keep working on it and take the day and look ahead and take that gift and do something good with it. Don't let it pass you by. You know, we only get so many trips around the sun and that's it. So, you know, we could get run over by a bus tomorrow. You never know. So all I can tell you from my life experience and the years that I've had, that I've enjoyed, is that, you know, grab the time, grab the gusto, and you never give up, no matter what. You fight and you'll overcome it, and you'll move on until the next challenge, and you'll fight and you'll win and you'll continue to win if you don't give up and you don't give in. Be tough, be strong, and more importantly than anything, have faith in yourself and in your higher power. If you have those two things, you're going to succeed and you're going to overcome anything that's in front of you. So I guess really, I just want to stop and say hi, because it's been a while and it's just not always easy for me to make meetings, but all of you are so important to me and my well-being, Craig and Tori, I love you both. And your support and the reaching out you do to me is so appreciated and so important. And I just wish everyone had that kind of support that you can lean on. So with that, I'll pass. Everyone have a good night, and please enjoy tomorrow. Bye, guys.
I think we should just end on that note. I mean, Gary, I'm so glad you're here. It's so good to see you, and we're always thinking of you. So thank you for checking in with us. We all love you here. So does anyone else want to share before we close?
Hey Travis, this is Gustavo, and Gustavo and I am an alcoholic. I wanted to share this moment and say thank you. You know, from your sharing, I feel that I got to know you a little bit more, and it's nice to hear you share and hear a little bit more who you are and your story. And you know, thank you.
Thanks, Gustavo, for your share. All right, anyone else before it's the top of the hour, but what a great meeting. Again, Travis, thank you for sharing your story. I know a lot of us got to know you better, and welcome to Wolfgang, and there's a couple other new people, so welcome to them. But and Gary, we're praying for you. And Travis, do you want to take us out?
Yeah. Thank you guys all for listening and sharing your time with me. Gary, it's great to hear you. I'm glad you're able to make it out tonight and give a great share. All of you guys for all of your support. Community is so important. Just stay. If you're here, stay, and if you're not, come find us. This place is a beautiful place to be. And I'm looking forward to hearing whoever is going to speak next week, and I can get my seat back from Tori. But with that being said, I hope you guys all have a beautiful night. Enjoy your evening, sleep well, go in peace, and I will see you all tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Tori. Gary, you're the baddest man I know, brother. Look at you. Take care, man. I'll talk to you later.
Bye, guys. Love you.
Thanks, Travis. Thanks, Tori. Everyone have a great night. Love you guys.
Night, everyone. Good night.